First, that the prohibition, or rather the absence of intermarriage between people of different caste, is the only element that can be considered as the critical element of caste. Among the Hindus, castes are endogamous, while the Gotras within a particular caste are exogamous. In spite of the endogamy of the caste, exogamy at the level of Gotra is strictly observed. There are more rigorous penalties for those who break the laws of exogamy than for those who break the laws of endogamy. It is understandable that the exogamy cannot be prescribed at the level of caste, for then caste as a definite identifiable unit would cease to exist. Ambedkar further says that the preventing marriages out of the group creates a problem from within the group, which is not easy to solve. The problem is that the number of individuals of either sex is more or less evenly distributed in a normal group, and they are of the similar age. If a group desires to consolidate its identity as a caste, then it has to maintain a strict balance in the number of persons belonging to either sex. Maintenance of numbers becomes the primary goal, because if a group wants to preserve the practice of endogamy, it is absolutely necessary to maintain a numerical equality between the marriageable individuals of the two sexes within the group. Ambedkar concludes the problem of caste then ultimately resolves itself into one of repairing disparity between the marriageable units of the two sexes within it. What naturally happens is that there is a surplus of either sex in the society. If a man dies, his wife is surplus, and if a woman dies, her husband is surplus. If the group does not take care of this surplus population, it can easily break the law of endogamy. Ambedkar argues that there are two ways in which the problem of surplus women is resolved in the society. Surplus women may either be burnt on the funeral pyre of their husband, or strict rules of endogamy may be imposed on them. Since burning of women cannot be encouraged in the society, widowhood bringing with it prohibition of remarriage is imposed on them. As far as the problem of surplus men is concerned, Ambedkar says that men have dominated society for centuries and have enjoyed greater prestige than women. The same treatment therefore cannot be accorded to them. A widower can remain so for the rest of his life, but given the sexual desire that is natural, he is a threat to the morals of the group, particularly if he leads an active social life and does not live as recluse. He has to be therefore allowed to remarry a woman who has not previously been married. This is, however, a difficult proposition. If a widower is provided a second woman, then an imbalance in the number of women of marriageable age is created. A surplus man can therefore be provided a wife who has not yet reached marriageable age, that is, a minor age girl. Ambedkar identifies four means by which numerical disparity between two sexes can be dealt with: burning of a widow with her deceased husband, compulsory widowhood, imposition of celibacy on the widower, and wedding the widower to a girl who has not yet attained marriageable age. In Hindu society, the customs of sati, prohibition of widow remarriage, and marriage of minor girls are practiced. A widower may also observe sannyas. These practices take care of the maintenance of the numerical balance between both the sexes born out of endogamy. For Ambedkar, the questions of spread and origin of caste are not separated. According to Ambedkar, the caste system has either been imposed upon the docile population of the India by a lawgiver or as a divine dispensation, or it has developed according to some law of social growth peculiar to the Indian people. Ambedkar refutes the notion that the law of caste was given by some lawgiver. Manu is considered to be the lawgiver of Hindus, but at the outset there is a doubt whether he ever existed. Even if he existed, the caste system predates Manu. No doubt Manu upheld it and philosophized about it, but he certainly did not and could not ordain the present order of the Hindu society. His work ended with the confiscation of existing caste rules and the preaching of caste dharma or duties, obligations and conduct associated with each caste. Ambedkar rejects the argument that Brahmin created caste. He maintains that it was necessary to dismantle this belief because there is still a strong belief in the minds of Orthodox Hindu that the Hindu society was molded into the framework of caste system and it is consciously crafted in the Shastras. It may be noted that the teaching and preaching of Shastras or the secret text is the prerogative of the Brahmins. Ambedkar agrees with the second argument, that is, some law of the social growth peculiar to Indian people about the spread of the caste system. According to Western scholars, the basis of origin of various castes in India are occupational, survival of tribal organization, the rise of new belief system, cross-breeding and migration. The problem, according to the Ambedkar, is that the aforesaid nuclei also exist in other societies and are not peculiar to India. Ambedkar asked why people did not form caste in other parts of this planet. At some stage, the priestly class detached itself from the rest of the body of people and emerged as a caste by itself. The other classes that were subject to the law of the social division of labor underwent differentiation. Some of these classes got divided into bigger groups and some into smaller groups. According to Ambedkar, this subdivision of the society is quite natural, but the unnatural thing about these subdivisions is that they have lost the open door character of the class system, and have become self-enclosed unit called castes. The question is, were they compelled to close their doors and become endogamous, or did they close them of their own accord? I submit that there is a double line of answer. Some closed their door, others found it closed against them. The one is a philosophical interpretation and the other is mechanistic, but they are complementary. Explaining the psychological interpretation of endogamy, Ambedkar opined that endogamy was popular in Hindu society. Since it had originated from the Brahmin caste, it was wholeheartedly imitated by all the non-Brahmin subdivisions or classes who in their turn became endogamous castes. Ambedkar quotes Gabriel Trait's law of imitation in this context. According to Trait, imitation flows from higher to lower. Secondly, the intensity of the imitation varies inversely in proportion to distance. Distance is understood there in its sociological meaning. Ambedkar points out that some castes were formed by imitating others because crucial conditions for the formation of caste by imitation existed in Hindu society. He feels that the source of imitation must enjoy the prestige in the group and that there must be numerous and daily relation among members of the group. Ambedkar opined that the Brahmins is treated as next to goat in Indian society. His prestige is unquestionable and he is fountainheaded of all that is good. He is idolized by scriptures, therefore such a creature is worth of more than mere imitation, but at least of imitation, and if he lives in an endogamous enclosure should not the rest follow his example. He argues that imitation by non-Brahmins of those castes which supported the structure of caste in its nascent days until it became embedded in the Hindu mind and persists even today is testimony to fact that the imitation is the cause of formation of caste. Customs of sati and forced widowhood and girl marriage are followed in one way or the other by different castes. Ambedkar opines those castes that are nearest to the Brahmin have imitated all the three customs and insist on the strict observance thereof. Those that are less near have imitated and forced widowhood and girl marriage. Others, a little further far off, have only girl marriage, and those farthest off having imitated only the beliefs in the caste principles. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for listening.